Hi folks. Well, it's time for morning chores here at the home place, and we've got tank heaters on. It's cold. It's down into the teens and the 20s here at the ranch. I've made videos about tank heaters, submersible tank heaters. We've talked a little bit about floating tank heaters. We've even talked about how if it's possible, it's easier on the heater. And then you folks that live in northern states where the ground freezes 5 to 6 feet deep, you might want to take some wood and actually cover half of your tank, because really horses only need the area of half a tank, and so if you cover half the tank, it doesn't freeze as hard. But there's a diagnostic that is very, very important for tank heaters, and here's what I want to show you. I'm going to take my gloves off here. We're going to zoom in. Hopefully you'll be able to see this. When a tank heater is turned on and it's working and the water is smooth, there's no ripples from wind, this tank is in a stall, you'll notice how we have this pattern of tiny little bubbles. I hope this is showing up. It almost looks like the shape of an apple. And what we have here is we have a 1500 watt large heater in the bottom of this tank that has a basket around it to protect it so that you could use it in a plastic tank or fiberglass, but we've got a metal tank. Now hopefully you'll see the bubbles, how we have a shape of the heating coils. Now that shows that the heater is on. Now believe it or not, another diagnostic test is, as you can see over here, we have a copper ground wire hooked to a brick, and we've made videos talking about grounding water tanks. Now we've got this shape of the heating coil. What I'm going to do is, hate to take my gloves off, it's kind of cold in here, is when you stick your fingers in this water, it should be cold. The water is cold, it's really cold, but it's not froze because see, we had these bubbles on top. Okay, I've kind of stirred up these bubbles. Now, when you stick your fingers in water and there's an electric tank in there, if you don't have the tank grounded or the tank isn't properly grounded, what's going to happen, folks, is your fingers aren't just going to feel like they're in cold water. They're going to tingle. It isn't going to be like a pins and needles tingle. It's going to be more like a tingle of something dancing on them. That's electricity. That's what your horses will feel on their mouth, their lips, their muzzle, their tongue. That's why it's important to ground out your tank. Now, you saw that shape of the bubbles, so what I'm going to do here real quick is I'm just going to go ahead and pull this heater up out of the water so that you can see that that's the shape of our bubbles. See, that was the shape of our bubbles. Here's your heating coils. And believe it or not, this is a pretty simple design. These heating coils are literally like the heating coils on an electric stove in your home. There's virtually no difference at all. Now, I left this way because I wanted to show you a safety thing. Notice this electrical cord is exposed going down into the tank. Well, a lot of people would say that's okay. What you really have to do is you need to either put a piece of plastic PVC pipe going down into the water up to this point, or just temporarily cover this with some type of a board. Just literally nail a board that protects this cord so that the horses can't chew on this cord or bite this. Now, I think this is probably going to be the last video. Oh man, my hands are cold. This is probably going to be the last video that I make on tank heaters, unless someone who watches this video has questions. If you have questions about electric tank heaters, about cleaning an electric tank heater or something like that, you can go to the www.stall13.com website and send me an email and say, hey BJ, I have questions about this. Now these tank heaters are very inexpensive. They're $20 to $30 and that's about it. So if you have a tank heater that is over a year old, you may want to replace it. I know it should seem like they should last longer, but they're kind of disposable. And we're talking about electricity inside of water. There's nothing about that that says safety. So a lot of times, if you're not seeing those bubbles, if you're kind of feeling that tingling, don't you think it's better just to pitch it and throw it away and go to town to the store and get a new one? I do. I think that's $30 well spent. This has been another Stall13.com video. Oh man, take care of yourself and take care of your horse.